Okay. All right. Okay, sorry. All right. And then we're moving to the second purpose, which is to persuade. Okay, to persuade. Make people believe what the author is saying. All right. And the tone is going to be biased. Why it is biased? Because I am trying to persuade you to believe in my stance ataupun pendirian. Okay. For example, I would say that e-book is better than printed book, for example. Okay, there will be two notion whether to agree or to disagree with the point. Okay, printed book versus ebook, for example. Hence, I have given you many strength of using ebook, for example, using iPad. All right. Definitely, it involves bias because some of you might say that I don't like to use iPad. I am such a conventional person. I like to write something on a paper. Okay, so this is what we say as the tone is involved is going to be biased because I am trying to persuade you to believe in my stance. Okay, to believe in my own pendirian stand. Okay, and then the next one is to entertain. All right, you have to inform, you have to persuade, and now we're moving to the third one, which is to entertain. Okay, when it comes to entertain, I believe that you know what is entertain. Okay, entertain is when you would like, when you give something and people will feel the emotion, but then the emotion somehow involve happy, you know, involve humor, and it is actually for fun. That's why kita kata entertain. Alright, entertainment when you watch when you watch Meletup, for example, it is an entertainment program. When you watch that, you feel that entertained, for example. Okay, this is actually for fun, for humor, and definitely the tone involved is going to be humorous. Okay, humorous. And then the next one is to instruct. Okay, to show how, teach, guide, and the tone is going to be objective. I am now giving a lecture on author's purpose. All right. Okay, this is actually to inform. I inform you what are the four purposes of writers. Okay, but then in a while, I'm going to instruct you to do a practice based on the one that we have learned. Okay, so you need to differentiate between to inform and to instruct. To inform, bagi tahu, alright? I am informing you there are four purposes for writing. Okay, in a while, I am going to instruct you to do an exercise, right, about four purposes for writing. All right. When it comes to instruct, it involves show, it involves teach, and then it involves guide. The tone is going to also objective because there is no emotion needed in order for you to instruct. Okay, you're not going to scold somebody on how to do this exercise. Hence, the tone involved is going to be objective. There is no emotion needed. Okay. All right. So I have uploaded this slide in your Padlet, like I mentioned previously. All right. If you would like to know more on the four purposes of writing, you can click the link and you can somehow read on your own. If you have any question, come back to me. Okay. All right. Okay, so how are you going to determine the purpose? So the first thing that you can do is actually to look at the title or subtitle if available. Sometimes when you read the article, you know whether this article is actually to entertain you, right? For example, the article is going to talk about the phenomenon of apa tu? Masya Allah. climate change, for example. When you look at the apa kita panggil at the topic, you know that climate change is not going to be something that would be that entertain, correct? Then the ideas is going to involve around to inform. For example, they will inform you on the ways, all right, to overcome climate change, for example. Okay, so you may need to take a look at the title, all right, or the subtitle. Once you have the title, but you cannot somehow identify whether these actually ideas is actually to inform, to instruct, to entertain, or to apa satu lagi lupa. Alright, so you need to look at the main idea. You need to look at the main idea. When you go down to the ideas, read the ideas, read the whole passage, identify the main ideas, identify the author's argument, identify the thesis statement, identify the topic sentence, as well as kita panggil supporting details in order for you to check on the types of purpose. Okay, all right. So let's take a look at the example. So these are the important bits of information you need to know about the Zika virus. Number one, causes of the contraction of the virus, effect on contracting the virus, as well as symptom of the virus. So in your opinion, what is the purpose of this particular article? Anyone?
To inform.
Thank you, Ridwan. Thank you. All right. So these are the important bits of information you need to know about the Zika virus, correct? This particular article or this particular passage is actually to inform the readers on the causes, the symptoms, as well as the effect. Okay, well done, Ridwan. Well done. Okay, the severity. All right. Okay, so now we're moving to the next upper two slide. Okay, practice on author's purpose. So the topic is going to be on practice of euthanasia. All right, so euthanasia should be made illegal as no one has the right to take another person's life, even if it is for ethical or moral reasons. This practice is wrong as there can be misuse or abuse of power by physicians or people related to the patient. If euthanasia is made illegal, patient will still have at least a slight chance of recovery or improvement in the quality of life. So therefore, the purpose of the author for mentioning these points, okay. Allah Akbar. Okay, so thus the purpose of author for saying all of these painkillers is, you need to look at the, kenapa ni? Masya Allah. Okay, so therefore the purpose of the author for mentioning this point is, look at the topic, practice of euthanasia. Okay, when we read about euthanasia, definitely this is not going to be that entertaining to read, all right? And then when you look at the points given, euthanasia should be made illegal as no one has the right to take another person's life, even it is for ethical or moral reason. So here you can say that this is actually to this is actually to inform, all right? But at the same time, you can say that it is actually to instruct, for example, okay? But you need to look at the point given. Euthanasia should be made illegal as no one has the right to take another person's life, even if it's for ethical or moral reasons, all right? This practice is wrong as there can be misuse or abuse of power by a physician or people related to the patient. And see, if euthanasia is made illegal, patients will still have at least a slight chance of recovery or improvement in the quality of life. Therefore, the purpose of the author for mentioning this point is, anyone? Tak keluar. Okay, it's actually to inform as well. All right, to inform. Okay, all right. Okay, the next one is use of painkiller. You can read on your own. All right, like we mentioned previously, there are 4 okay, I'm so sorry because this is actually prepared by other lecturers. I hate using this slide yang tap ni. Sekaligus tak boleh ke? All right. Allah. Okay. All right. So there are four. Remember, there are four types. There are four purposes of writing: to inform, to persuade, to entertain, to instruct. Okay, IPEI. Okay, to inform, to persuade, to entertain, and to instruct. So when you read, there will be questions in your not. There will be one question, correct, in your question paper that is going to ask about author's purpose, but I don't think that it will be difficult for you to identify for the author's purpose or tone, because this topic is quite easy to answer, and most of my students from previous semesters has it correct. Okay, all right. Okay, so now we're moving to tone. We're moving to tone. Remember, just now we have learned about purposes. There are four purposes, all right? To inform, to persuade, to entertain, and to instruct. Okay, now we're moving to the tone. Remember when we talk about to inform, there is no emotion. Okay, it is objective, all right? However, when it comes to persuade, there will be 2 points needed. There will be 2 notion needed, whether to agree or to disagree. Okay. Hence, when it comes to persuade, it's involved bias, because you need to identify the strength and the weaknesses of both ideas, and at the end of the day, you're going to choose for uh, one particular notion, whether to agree or to disagree. Okay, next we have to entertain. Definitely when it comes to entertain, it's involve emotions, and the emotion is going to be positive, whereby it involves fun and humorous ideas when you watch the TV programs, or when you read any kind of entertainment ideas. You'll be laughing because it's involved fun and humorous feeling. Okay, and then we have to instruct. To instruct is going to be a bit similar to inform. However, when it comes to instruct, it's involved teaching, it's involved sharing something, it involves guiding on something. Okay, all right. So now we're moving to the tone. Okay, when it comes to the tone, there are 4 things that you need to consider. Number 1 is attitude. Number 2 is feeling. Number 3 is emotion. And the next one is going to be mood. Okay, you need to look at the attitude of how the writers somehow share the ideas. Okay, and then the feeling, the emotion. Feeling and emotion is somehow similar. And then the mood of the ideas. Okay, imagine yourself reading a novel. I believe when you read a novel, romance novel, for example, you can imagine yourself. All right, when you read, how am I supposed to say? When you somehow watch something, all right, when you watch a story, when you watch a movie and you love that movie so much, you can somehow imagine yourself to be in that movie as well. I'm not sure, but sometimes when I was a little, I love to watch Tom and Jerry, Tom and Jerry kita kata series, and I love to have that kind of cats in my life. Alhamdulillah ada seekor kat rumah, sebiji macam tu, suka mengejar orang kan. So I love to have that cats, and I would like to name my cat as Tom, but the thing is my cat is a girl, so yeah, tak boleh lah nak tak Tom. Alright, so that's how we somehow portray our emotion. We watch the movie, we watch the series, we feel so entertained, and sometimes the mood change from sad to happy. That's how it works. Okay. All right. Okay, so tone is actually an expression of the author's attitude, feeling, emotion, mood based on the author's use of words and writing style. Okay, when you read a novel, you can sense the humor from the write-up because of the words used. Because of the word used. You may need to read between the lines somehow to understand the whole mood, right? Okay, it's involved, it also works when you watch a movie, kan? Sometimes, I'm not sure whether you have listened to a story in a radio station. Kadang-kadang kalau radio lama-lama, RTM for example, they have somehow shared a story, all right? There will be a DJ who will read the story, okay? So there will be, when they read, they somehow vary their voice, character and everything. When they are sad, this is the character of the voice is going to evolve, right? So that's how it works. It's not only for reading. Okay, all right. So an overtone can be identified based on the most used tone in a passage, despite other tones that are present in the text. Okay, definitely when you read a novel, for example, sometimes in the middle of happiness, there will be one or two part that they'll share about sadness. Contoh lah is during a wedding, pumpang-pumpang, suka-suka wedding, and then in the middle of that point, they somehow shared with you one of the guests at the wedding is somehow unconscious, kan? But you need to look at the most used tone in a passage, all right? Even though there will be some part of the paragraph somehow showed about the sadness of the story, but you need to go for the most used tone in a passage. So you need to read thoroughly, understand the whole passage in order for you to extract the common tone, all right? So an author who wants to persuade readers might use an enthusiastic, concerned, angry, indignant, worried, urgent tone. Okay, when it comes to persuading people, when I would like to persuade you to come to my class, okay, I'll go with enthusiasm, okay, enthusiasm, energetic, all right, concern. Okay, why don't you come to my class? Today we are going to have Hari Raya Du, kan? Hari Raya Du. Angry, okay? You would like to persuade people, you are that angry, you show your anger, all right? And then indignant, very enthusiastic, worried, urgent tone. Persuade, bila kita nak persuade, you have this kind of tone, okay? So, but when it comes to inform, like we mentioned previously, the tone is going to be objective. The tone is going to be, there is no emotion shown. Hence, the tone is going to be neutral. Okay, neutral. Assalamualaikum, everyone. Today our class will be conducted via Zoom. See you. All right. So there is no emotion shared. There is no emotion shared. The tone is going to be neutral, unemotion, and matter of fact tone. It's straightforward. Okay, matter of fact ni macam straightforward. The tone is going to be straightforward. There is no energy use. All right, you're just going to inform people that today we are going to have class at 2:30 via Zoom. All right. Okay, so if you'd like to know more on determining tone, you can click on the link below. You can somehow read on your own. Like I mentioned many times, if you have any doubt, please come back to me. We will discuss. All right. Okay, so let's take a look at this example. All right. She stopped again and then said in a very matter-of-fact tone. When it comes to matter-of-fact tone, look at this one. To inform, dia bagi tahu, matter-of-fact. So the tone is going to be neutral. There is no emotion shared. Okay, so here, Professor McGonagall somehow informed Potter. You look in excellent health to me, Potter. So you will excuse me if I don't let you off homework today. I assure you that if you die, you need not hand in it. All right. So here, when you read this particular masterpiece, all right, there is no emotion shared. Okay, it's involved a neutral, unemotioned tone because Professor McGonagall is only inform Potter about the homework. All right. Okay, so far so good, everyone?
Yes, Miss.
All right. Okay, if you have any questions, you just ask questions, okay, in the chat pane maybe, or if you like to on your mic, I have no problem with that. Okay, so now we're moving to the next slide, which is tone and bias. Okay, remember when it comes to bias, it's involved the ideas of to persuade because there is two notions, whether to agree or to disagree, propose or oppose. Okay, so a tone used by the author can also indicate a bias or the side favored by the author, definitely. All right, so an author's bias can also be identified based on the word or phrases used. I agree with this point. I disagree with this point. I don't think that this point is a good point, for example. So you can identify whether the author is being biased from the words or phrases used. Okay, so an author's bias will show whether the author has a positive or negative attitude toward a certain issue being highlighted. For example, the topic that I've shared with you, ebook versus printed book. All right, so when you read the whole passage, you can somehow come up with the ideas whether the author, all right, is showing bias. Maybe he is that positive on ebook is better than printed book. But on the other hand, you are you are not in the same boat with him, where you think printed book would be better, than to abstract the point whether the author has a positive or negative attitude towards certain issue being highlighted. All right, so an author can be seen to be biased or not biased based on whether he used more emotional or neutral words. Okay, you can sorry darling, somebody called me. Okay, an author can be seen to be biased or not biased based on whether he used more emotional or neutral words. So when it comes to being biased, there will be emotion involved, right? There will be emotion involved. They might share you their disappointment, all right? They might be angry, they might be feeling sad, for example, but they can also being neutral. Okay, being neutral. When it comes to neutral, it means that you are not showing whether you are actually a biased person. You might list the same strength. Okay, contohnya you bagi 3 advantages of having ebook as well as 3 advantages of having a printed book. So that's not what we call as bias. You are just showing, you are just giving the points. However, when it comes to this kind of kita kata ways, at the end of the day, I'm afraid that your point is going to be only to inform, because you are actually to inform on the strength and weaknesses of both point. So make sure when it comes to comparing, you need to pick your side. Okay, pick your side, whether to be positive or to be negative, to agree or disagree. All right. Okay. All right, let's take a look at this. All right, based on the word phrases used, what is the overall tone? Remember, you can identify the tone based on the words or phrases used. So let's take a look at number 1. There is a pressing need to quickly fix this matter. Okay, look for the word pressing. Okay, pressing need to quickly fix this matter quickly. So it means that you need to have an immediate effect, all right, to fix this matter. Hence, the tone used is actually an urgent tone. Sebab kita immediate action, all right? They need an immediate action. There is a pressing need to quickly fix this matter. Okay, number 2, the national examination is too rigid, and it will definitely hamper students' ability to learn meaningfully. So the tone here is actually a disapproving tone because of the word too rigid, and then because of the examination is too rigid, and it can hamper student ability to learn meaningfully. All right, and then number 3, I am worried that if we do not do something about this, it will prevent us from achieving the objective we desire. All right, so the tone here is actually concern tone. All right, you are worried about something, okay, you are worried if we do not do something about this, then it will prevent us from achieving the objective we desire. So when you read your apa kita kata, because this tone is also used for your mashallah, for your forum as well. Hence, when you look for your kita kata article, okay, look for the keywords, look for the word or phrases in order for you to identify the overall tone. All right. Okay, so this is going to be some of the exercises, all right? Identify the best tone you can associate with the words used in each item. The first one has been done for you, all right? So, oh no, I'm worried. So the tone is worried, upset, concerned because of the word worried. Okay, there is a need to do this now. I believe that the tone is going to be, go back to the one that we have learned just now. Okay, urgent tone because of the word need, okay? Urgent tone. I don't think you can do it. Can you? Right. So you need to identify the tone. Okay. There are 4 common types of phobia. Tone dia macam mana? So macam tadi kan, kalau I don't think you can do it, can you? Sekejap Coming. Alright. So I don't think you can do it. Can you? Alright. So go back to the contoh. Okay. Alright. I don't think that you can do it. Can you? Is it a constant tone or disapproving tone? You need to identify that carefully. All right. There are 4 common types of phobias. Definitely, this topic is somehow to inform. Hence, the tone is going to be objective. So, what kind of tone? Right. I'm sorry I did that to you. Those poor victims, I want to help them. I don't care. I want to go now. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So, you need to identify the tone based on the words or phrases used. When it comes to this, highlight the tone and not highlight the tone. Highlight the keyword, all right? It will be easier for you to identify the tone at the end. Okay, so I have somehow, the team has classifies tones, all right? You can check this, what does it call, table, right? In order for you to identify the tones. For example, number 1, unemotional, no emotion or feeling shared. So the emotion is going to be serious, grave, deeply interested, right? Itu emotion lah. Kalau supportive, hopeful, inspiring, hope. Alright, kalau dispassionate, unaffected by passion, emotion, so emotion yang di-share adalah alarm. Alright, you alarm with that, okay, trigger, okay. But when it comes to supportive, definitely you will be that sympathetic, whereby you're going to showing empathy. Okay, so these are all classification of tones. You may go through on your own. If you have any problem to understand some of the ideas, come back to me, all right? Okay, let's take a look at number 1. Contoh, we hope so badly that it will be free for the next day as well, so that we could book it for the following night. Okay, so you identify the tone. The overtone is that is evident, which best describe each excerpt. There can be more than one possible answer. So when it comes to this, you're going to underline some of the keyword. Contohnya kalau yang nombor 1, we hope so badly, right? The word badly, that it would be free for the next day as well, so that we could book it for the following nights. So you are actually hoping, okay? So the tone is going to be you identify on your own. Okay, so it was amazing. One more stop in the coral reef with more sharks and many little fish, all very colorful. Again, very amazing. Okay, underline amazing, for example, and then maybe you can somehow underline coral reef with more shark and many little fish, all very colorful. So from this word, identify the tone. Okay, happy ke? Number 4, words the same as well. Okay. Alright. Ini pun sama. How to bake a cake. Definitely instruct lah. Okay, number 1, number 2. When it comes to instruct, it's involve step. Okay, selalunya it's involve steps. Okay, number 1, you need to have a bowl with you, alright, and then you need to have a flour with you ataupun flour with you. Lepas tu water, for example, because you would like to bake a cake now. All right, so definitely the purpose is going to instruct, and the tone is going to be neutral because there is no emotion needed in order for you to instruct people. Kan? All right, and then why organic food is better than conventional food? Because this idea is actually to compare between one particular notion to another one. Then definitely the purpose is going to be on kan, to persuade, for example. All right, that's how it works. Smartphone, the best device ever. Are you sure about on that? Okay, the best device ever. Sure ke? Kalau it comes to this particular idea, this is actually to persuade. Betul ke smartphone the best device ever? Definitely it's involved bias, because sometimes people might say that no, smartphone is not the device, the best device ever. I'll be using my tab like forever, for example, kan? So you need to always ask question in order for you to get the correct purpose and correct tone. Okay. All right. Do you have questions on purpose and tone, everyone? No, eh? Okay, we're moving to the next one, which is the audience, okay, intended audience. There will be 4 more assessment, definitely. The next assessment is going to be on week 9, all right, whereby you're going to sit for your first assessment. And then on week 13, you're going to send us an essay. All right, in that particular essay, you need to identify the tone, the purpose, as well as the intended audience of your chosen article. Okay, and then on week 14, week 13, week 12, week 13, and week 14, you're going to also conduct a forum. All right, 4 to 5 members in a group. And then during the forum, you are going to also talk about the attended audience. Okay. And then the last assessment, you're going to submit a portfolio based on the ideas that you have for your forum. Okay. All right. So please make sure that you give attention to this topic, even though this topic is somehow easy, but sometimes because people take this for granted, they did not get the question correct. Okay, so when it comes to intended audience, when you read your chosen article, okay, you look at the topic. Okay, you look at the topic, and then once you have got the topic, I believe that you will somehow get the gist behind the topic itself. You know that who will be the audience who's going to read the whole passage. All right, so who should read this? Who will learn or benefit the most out of reading this? Who should be concerned about this? Who is involved in this? Who should be aware of this? All right. Like I mentioned previously, for example, there will be a presentation. Contohnya kan, there will be a presentation, and one of you, she presented about romance movie, but definitely not everyone loves romance movie. You might love to watch action movies, for example. So your presentation is not going to be an excellent presentation because they did not somehow attract audience to listen. So you need to, when you read apa kita kata, a storyline, for example, when you read an article, identify the audience maybe from the topic given. If you cannot get anything from the topic, then you may need to read the whole passage and extract at least 3 points in order for you to check on the audience. All right. Okay, so the intended audience is actually a specific group of people, or one passage can be intended for more than one group. Okay. For example, when you read a topic on language and identity, I don't think that when I give this kind of article to you, then you will be that interested to learn more. I don't think so. But if I give this kind of topic, language identity, to linguistic students, to academy pengajaran bahasa students, that would be very grateful to read all of those things, because their ideas is going to be around language and identity. All right. If I give you something on account, you might love it, or you might be bored having the same ideas every day. But that's how we identify our audience. We need to ask question, what are the things that you love? Okay, before, kalau you sebelum you buat presentation pun, it is good for you to ask question to your audience at the first place, in order for you to identify their interest, because you don't want to present, you don't want to come up with with write up that will not attract people to read. All right. Okay. And then people who could benefit the most out of this issue, definitely when you look for an issue, it is good for you to notice, all right, to notify that your other interlocutors, ataupun kita kata your other party, would understand, would get benefit from the issue. For example, in a while, when I ask you to present a forum, then you choose a topic on mathematics ataupun account, it would be difficult for me to understand the whole ideas, because I am not in account background. But if you choose something on technology, I might understand, because technology is somehow we learn together. All right. Or maybe you would like to talk about English language and technology, it would be great, because we are actually in the same boat. You are in English class, and I believe that most of us, we are millennials, we are living in these millennials, and we know technology that good. Contoh, so you need to knows your audience well. Okay, and then people who should be aware of this issue, and then people who are involved in the issue. I believe you have understood on how to identify your audience. All right, maybe you can ask question, you do a survey, you do a survey beforehand, or you just identify on your own. Okay, based on your experience, or based on your experience, ataupun based on the question asked. Okay. All right. Okay. The next slide. Okay. Contoh example. This is going to be example. This experiment. Okay. This experiment is necessary for college students to learn at the beginning of this university course. Lecturers are responsible to teach this course. Okay. To inform. All right, to inform, and then the intended audience is going to be college student and lecturers. The tone is going to be neutral, objective, matter of fact, because the purpose is to inform. Okay. Look at the experiment. Contoh, you would like to conduct the same experiment at school. Contoh, you are a teacher and you have learned this during your college years, and then you would like to bring this memory when you become a teacher in school. Okay, your student might not understand the process of the experiment, because of the difficulties to understand, because the level is somehow different. That's why it is good for you to understand your audience, so that you are giving something that is actually according to their level. All right, and parallel with their knowledge. Takkan you nak cerita tentang tentang global warming to orang asli, for example, they won't understand. But if you are talking about something related to apa kita kata Hindustan sebagai contohnya, they love it. This is the experience that I've gathered when I was writing one of the paper about orang asli. We went there, and then we tried. We divide ourselves into two groups, and one of our group somehow talk about spheres tinggi, macam mana nak rumah. Okay, we provide them with shelter macam rumah, but they did not somehow sleep in the house, they sleep under the house. That house, they put all the bananas, mangoes in the house. They sleep under the house. Itu orang asli. So my friend somehow talk about the importance of having shelter. You need to sleep in the house. You need to put the bananas, mangoes under the house. They never listened, because that's how they live for the past few years, kan, for the past 100 years. So that's how they live. So we cannot change that. Orang asli, kan. But when we talk about something related to Hindustan, even we somehow talk about Shah Rukh Khan, they know Shah Rukh Khan very well. And when we somehow share with them, ask them to watch Hindustan movies and everything, they love to watch and they somehow copy some of the dance, some of the dance moves and everything. So here, what I would like you to understand that it is good for you to get to know your audience, so that when you bring something, when you write something, you will attract your audience to read from the beginning until the end, because we don't want them to just stop in the middle of the write up and then having this kind of bored faces, bosan nak teruskan membaca. Alright, okay, so number 2, this chapter explain the organization of the ecosystem. The ecosystem is divided into 2 types: physical and internet ecosystem. Physical ecosystem refers to blah blah blah. Okay, the purpose is actually to inform. All right, because there is no instruction given. There is no instruction asking you to write 5 types of ecosystem pun tak ada. Okay, they're just to inform you, explain the organization of the ecosystem. Okay, target audience might be students or college student, environmental health program students. Why we're talking about college students? Because of the word explain the organization of the ecosystem. And the ecosystem is divided into 2 types: physical and internet ecosystem. And definitely it's involved environmental health program students, because most of them are actually in that ecosystem. I don't think that your topic somehow cover on an ecosystem. Okay, and then reading materials from the ideas given, you can you can assume on the reading materials, textbook ke, reference book ke, ataupun academic magazine, cookbooks, manual or brochures. So we don't think that this particular chapter would come out in a cookbooks, correct? Unless the topic is going to be nasi goreng kampung, then definitely the reading materials is going to be on cookbooks. Okay, and the tone is going to be neutral, objective, matter of fact, because the purpose is to inform. All right. Okay, so in this section, you will learn the proper procedure for preparing a slide for the microscope. Look for the word procedure. Preparing. Okay, maybe it's involve steps. Kan, number 1, number 2, number 3. So here the purpose is going to be to instruct maybe. All right, so who should be concerned about this? Look at the word microscope, mungkin medic students lah kan, mungkin medical students. And then what is the author, what is the tone of this author? Go back to the purpose. The purpose is to instruct, hence the tone is going to be objective, matter of fact. All right, you can somehow try on your own. Okay, all right, so there are several exercises that you can try on your own. All right, here we're going to continue with our last chapter, which is author's issue, bias and point of view. Remember that when it comes to bias, so the tone is going to be angry, for example. All right, and then the purpose is going to be to persuade, because it's involved bias where you have 2 notions to choose. Okay, author's issues, bias and point of view. All right, issues is a controversial topic where people have conflicting opinion about. It is topic that can still be debated and it is still inconclusive. Okay, when it comes to giving your point of view, definitely it's involved bias, because your point of view could be that positive or could be that negative. All right. And then when it comes to point of view, you're going to somehow giving your own stance, all right, your own belief, like I mentioned previously, whether to agree, to disagree, or maybe you are actually partially agree or partially disagree with that topic. Maknanya partially agree ni ada point, 3 point, for example, you are actually agree with the e-book versus printed book just now, but you will also give another 2 points to support that printed books is better than e-books, for example. Okay, so in order for you to identify author's bias, you can check on the word or phrases used. We have learned about this before. Okay, so the words and phrases indicate how an author feels about an issue or his attitude toward an issue. Okay, and then bias is an inclination of an author's thinking, whether it is for, against an issue or topic. We have discussed this. I have explained this many times. All right. When it comes to bias, you need to read the whole ideas. Okay. Identify the most tone use. Remember. Okay. You have to notion to choose, okay, whether to agree, whether to disagree. Definitely when it comes to persuade, it was involve bias, because you are actually persuading people to believe in your stance, but your stance might not be agreed by the audience. Okay, all right, looks at the example. Allowing school students to use smartphones in class is a ridiculous idea. Okay, so this is bias. This is bias because you are telling people that allowing school students to use smartphone in class is a ridiculous idea, where people nowadays have use handphone every day, even to even to attend a virtual class, kan? They're not using their laptop, they are using their phone to come into virtual classes, for example. Okay, so the author is biased against the use of smartphone in class based on the phrase ridiculous. Okay, right. And then the next one, I see social media as poison to the society, as it will only ruin the minds of the people. Definitely, this shows that the authors is being biased, because they mention that social media as poison to the society, where some of you might say that social media is the savior because you are the TikTokers, you are the Insta famous, Facebook user, for example, and you are using your social media to interact with your friends. Hence, you're not going to say that social media is the poison to the society, but social media is going to be the savior of your own life, for example. Okay, right. So you can read these on your own. All right, SPM destroy meaningful learning as the focus is too much on rote learning. All right, so definitely this shows that the author has a biased stance on SPM because it's destroy meaningful learning. But somehow some of you might say that thank you SPM, because of you I can somehow further my study abroad, for example. Okay. So definitely when it comes to bias, there will be two notion, whether to agree or to disagree. All right. Okay. All right. So you have several links here, all right, in order for you to get more knowledge, to get more point on tone, purpose, as well as intended audience. You can click on the link given, all right, and then download some of the examples, some of the slides, as well as sample, all right. I believe that at the end of the day, you'll be that wonderful, all right, to answer question on this particular topic. All right. So like I mentioned just now, this topic is going to be beneficial for you for your writing assessment letter, whereby in your writing assessment letter, which you are going to submit on week 13, you are going to list the tone, the purpose, as well as the intended audience from the chosen article. Okay, that article will be given inshallah next week, and then next week also you are going to also submit one topic for your forum. Hence, please take some time this week to discuss with your group members. Maybe you can also discuss in your private group where you have everyone, so that you're not going to send a topic, send a redundant topic. Okay, I don't want to have two groups with the same topic. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing this slide. Okay, any questions from the floor? Yes, Anis. No question. Okay, thank you, Anis. Okay, if you have question later, like I mentioned many times, if you have any doubt, please do not hesitate to contact me. I will end my class. However, I'll give you another practice for the test, because your test is around the corner. It's going to be on week 9. Not to scare you, but the highest last semester is actually 26/35. Okay, not that good. And then the lowest is 4. Okay, so that's for account juga, account class juga. So I am hoping to have 30 from your class, 30/35 at least. Kau dapat 35/35 tu excellent. All right. So I'll give you another another exercise in a while. So please make sure that you're going to complete that before you come to my class next week. We're going to have another Zoom session next week, and we're going to discuss together. Okay, please make sure that you go through the answer scheme that I have uploaded last week in order for you to as a reference. Okay, as a reference in order for you to answer for this time punya exercise. Okay, no question here from the floor.
No, Miss.
All right, thank you so much. See you again. Please check in your attendance and you future. All right, so thank you very much for today. Assalamualaikum everyone.
Waalaikumsalam, Miss.
Waalaikumsalam. Terima kasih, Miss.
Terima kasih.